Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hobart begins now.
Good evening. Leading our bulletin this Saturday night, Southern Cross Care has been forced to apologise and remove an internal memo after claims it was racist and intimidating. The state's health union is behind the condemnation, now calling on the organisation to fully accept responsibility while urging the federal aged care minister to intervene.
Posted to the walls of the Yarrandoo Aged Care Home in the state's northwest, the fine print in this staff memo has come under fire.
What they put out was clearly racist and it was further intimidation.
It reads, when English is your second language, you must speak English while at work and on the premises.
Staff that originally brought this to our attention were distraught by what had been put out by management. They saw it as a personal attack on them.
Southern Cross Care has since revoked the note and responded to the controversy, stating the intention of the notice was not to completely prevent staff members from speaking languages other than English in the workplace, apologising to any staff member who was offended by the notice.
They haven't even retracted it. They've apologised if people feel like they're offended. That's not an apology.
The organisation's CEO, Robin Boyd, told 7 Tasmania News neither her or the board were aware of the memo being created and do not endorse it, pointing to the company as an equal opportunity employer that embraces diversity.
I would expect any employer to treat their staff with respect, and anything short of that is not good enough. So I hope whatever mistakes have been made here, that company learns from.
Other political parties weighing in on concerns.
We do have discrimination laws in this country, so it's very sad to see Southern Cross Care sending out a memo like that.
With 2/3 of the workforce not speaking English as their first language.
We are calling on the federal minister to actually intervene, and we need to see new leadership at Southern Cross Care so that incidents like this never occur again.
The federal aged care minister was contacted for comment. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A 50-year-old man remains in a serious condition at the Royal Hobart Hospital after being hit by a car in Hobart early this morning. The incident occurred on Murray Street just before 2 o'clock. Police are urging anyone who witnessed the incident to come forward. Years of hard work has come to an end for Tasmanian university students who celebrated their graduation in Hobart today.
With the current unprecedented skills shortage being experienced across the country, in all these significantly important areas, your choices are critical in supporting and building the workforce of tomorrow.
The success of more than 6,000 academics is being acknowledged at a number of summer ceremonies right across the state. More will be throwing their hats in the air in the coming days as graduations make their way to Launceston. The state government is calling for applicants from across the country to sit on the Tasmanian Child Safety and Wellbeing Panel. It comes after it accepted all the recommendations from a recent review into the Launceston General Hospital. The panel will play a key role in the decision-making, implementation and review of child safeguarding events. 2 independent members and a chairperson will make up the panel. A small but mighty group of surf lifesavers have spent the day at Kingston Beach learning how to help those stranded in swift water situations. It's part of a program hoped to build the state's rescuing capacity, with only 100 of around 1,000 patrolling members trained in flood response.
Joining Surf Lifesaving Tasmania at just 5 years old, Oliver Bailey has moved up through the ranks, now working as a flood rescue technician to help those swept up in near-death situations.
We pulled a young couple out of a car up near Grafton. We've pulled a young man hanging off a pole in Woodburn, and in Tassie we've done some evacuations of some families. Others now hoping to follow suit, participating in the Flood First Responder program running since 2016.
Surf Lifesaving Tasmania is absolutely leading the way nationally in terms of what's been done with the flood rescue training and deployment.
We're being tasked by the government to be the agency that actually gets wet. So SES are doing a lot of the planning, a lot of the of that sort of work, but we're the ones that will actually be in the water.
The day began in the classroom before the squad submerged in the Browns River, but not before suiting up in PPE protection.
We're dealing with contamination, sewage, agricultural waste, industrial waste. It's all coming down through floodwater, and with that starts to have a contamination load on skids.
The team practicing a range of simple yet significant drills and learning how to navigate through the murky depths.
We don't know what we're walking into. We don't know what kind of debris is going around. Shopping trolleys, bicycles, vehicles, or actual bridges start to fall away.
They can be quite dangerous and frightening situations, but you've just got to trust in the training you've received, and our teams are very tight-knit and all trained very well. I trust all of those guys with my life.
And with La Niña still in full swing, their new skills might be needed sooner rather than later. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
A Tasmanian trio is gearing up for a mighty challenge, taking to Medina Mountain Park slopes for the next 24 hours. The team is aiming to raise $20,000 for the Tim Blair Run for Kids Foundation, which supports children diagnosed with cancer and the work to find a cure.
We're going to have massive highs throughout the next 24 hours, and there'll be massive lows where you need to dig deep and find inspiration. And that inspiration is children that are fighting for their life every day.
Anyone interested in donating can do so through the Foundation's website. One of the state's most picture-perfect farms is celebrating a historic milestone. Bridestow Lavender Farm is about to begin its 100th harvest as focus turns to the type of tourist visiting the state.
Taking advantage of the sunshine and the scenery, there's a buzz around Bridestow as the iconic Lavender Farm celebrates a century of harvests.
We have local talent coming to show their talent. We have a Launceston-based jazz trio tomorrow.
Local support has been critical during the pandemic as border closures kept big spending travellers from interstate and overseas away. Now, Bridestow is grappling with the elements.
We're usually a little bit further ahead than we are at the moment because of the cold, wet start to summer.
But the less than sunny start to the season hasn't kept tourists at bay. Sydney team Delancey was keen to come after seeing the estate on social media.
It's absolutely beautiful. The ice cream is an absolute must-have. The purple is stunning and the views are magnificent.
It's hoped international visits will begin picking up as Globetrotters get back in the holidaying habit.
So we generally have a very large influx of overseas visitors. So being slow would be very important to us.
But for now, domestic travel is making up for the lack. If you're a keen snapper, the estate is relatively quiet this early in the season. Numbers are set to grow towards harvest time though, with 1,200 visitors expected per day at its peak. The field's earning high praise from 8-year-old Arun. What do you like about being here?
Kind of smells and there's lots of shops.
A budding appreciation for one of Tasmania's boutique blooms. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
It was a tight start to the Jack Jumpers clash with the Cairns Taipans in the team's return to the nest after 6 long weeks. Jack McVeigh came out firing, leading the way with the opening 3-pointer.
Here, Josh Majette was making things happen and no one found him because he just didn't stand still. That's great offence away from having the ball in your hands, and that's what Jack McVeigh does.
Tasmania took the Taipans nearly point for point in a closely fought first half. The Jack Jumpers did have the upper hand at half-time. We'll have a full update for you tomorrow night before the Jackies are back in action on Monday, taking on the 36ers in Adelaide. It was a tough start to the BBL season for the Hobart Hurricanes last night, with the Melbourne Stars making the most of early momentum in their 38-run victory. Adding insult to injury, fellow Tasmanian Bo Webster put a massive 6 into the MCG stands.
Oh, Webster, that is an absolute bomb.
That is a massive hit. A second tier.
The Cane Train will be hoping to get back on track on Monday night when the team takes on Perth at Utah's Stadium.
Good evening, everyone. Launceston and Devonport both 19 degrees today, 17 in Burnie and Hobart 15. Across the state, 21 in Strawn and Low Head, Bushy Park and King Island 19, 18 on Flinders Island, St Helens and Friendly Beaches both 16 and 14 in Lyowini. Low-level cloud can be seen extending across the south and east of the state today, with clearer skies to the north and west. Further out, cloud spirals around a low over the Tasman Sea. Thunderstorms and convective cloud can be seen over Queensland, while high cloud is over the centre of the continent. Little change tomorrow. A low remains over the Tasman Sea with a high to the southwest of Tasmania, while low pressure troughs persist across the north and northwest of the country. And we'll see southeasterly winds tomorrow, 10 to 20 knots, tending northeasterly about the north. And there is a minor flood warning for the Macquarie and South Esk rivers. Mostly sunny and 19 in Hobart tomorrow, 20 in Richmond, Ouse reaching 23. Launceston a top of 25, Devonport sunny and 21, 22 in Deloraine. 18 degrees in Burnie tomorrow, partly cloudy and 20 in Strawn, Curry 19. And in the east, St Helens and Swansea 18 and partly cloudy and 19 in Whitemark. And the UV tomorrow is extreme across the state with sunset expected at 8:45 p.m. Looking on to Monday, fine apart from possible light showers about higher areas of the north. Similar weather continuing on Tuesday with some cloud cover across the state. And on Wednesday, fine apart from possible showers also about the north. Mostly sunny in Perth tomorrow, 31 in Adelaide, Canberra and Sydney 22, showers in Cairns and Darwin and 35 in Alice Springs. And currently partly cloudy and 13 in Hobart, Launceston 18 and mostly sunny and 17 in Devonport mostly sunny and a few warm days ahead, Lou.
Finally, it's what we've all been hoping for. Thank you for that, Chelsea. That's all your news for this Saturday night. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Good night.